And I said, I'm kind of old school, guys. I kind of figure out how to value a company. They said, really?
How do you value
a
company?
It's very simple. I'm going to tell you right now. The ability to pay for itself over 5 to 7 years.
The building here behind me, as I turn this way, is called Autolog. And if you've heard me talk about Autolog before, because you read my book, Man Up, or you listen to my podcast, my mentor, Jim Franco, owns this business in this building for 30 some odd years. He's the first personal training client I had, and he's the guy that mentored me on entrepreneurship. And since we're out here in La Habra, I called Jim Franco and I was like, hey, what are the odds that you're free and I could see you? He's like, man, you know I'm always here for you. So we're gonna go into his office and we're gonna meet Jim Franco. I was his personal trainer 25 years ago. Last year in April, he turned 80, so he's now 81 years old. Many years ago, when I introduced myself to him in the gym and tried to sell him on personal training, I'm like, hey, my name is Bedros. He goes, Pedro? I go, no, Bedros. He goes, Bedro? I go, listen, why don't you call me Peter? He goes, why Peter? I said, well, in the Bible, in the Armenian Bible, Bedros is Peter. Peter is a translation of Bedros. So maybe you'll be able to pronounce Peter better than Bedros. So when I called him today, he's like, Peter, what's going on? So there's only like one person in the world who doesn't call me B or Bedros, and that's Jim Franco. So pay attention as you'll see him call me Pete or Peter, which is not my fucking name. But at this point, you know, when people get old and they're kind of set in their ways, he's set in his ways, so we're gonna let that ride. Well, let's go see my mentor, Jim Franco. Jim Franco.
I love your sophisticated outfit. Suit and tie, the guy is amazing.
So Jim goes, I love your sophisticated outfit, suit and tie. Yeah, I roll a little differently. This is Ed, that's Mainrad, and that's Leighton.
Hi, guys.
Want to hear something cool about Leighton?
Yes.
So were you 9 or 10 years old when I met you? 10. He was 10 years old. His mom was my personal training client, just like you were my personal training client. His mom was my personal training client years after I trained you. And he was 10 years old. He'd ride his skateboard at the park where I would train his mom in a boot camp. And, you know, over the years, how you've mentored me?
Yes, sir.
Well, he's now 28 years old, married, 3 kids. And I've had the good fortune to mentor him like you've mentored me over the years. And even more interesting is now he's mentoring my son, Andrew. So you've mentored me, I've mentored him, he's mentoring my son, just full circle. Can I ask you a few questions? Because
Absolutely.
You've got years, decades of wisdom you can share with us. So when I started off, we were business partners in High Tech Trainer and also in Premier Results.
Right.
But in High Tech Trainer, you gave us a little cubicle in that little other office to work in, and that was like, I was so thankful for that. But I remember, even as I was your personal trainer, and the times that I was working at High Tech Trainer here before I ended up moving to Chino Hills, I met you when you were 59, probably late.
Pretty close.
Right?
Yep.
And last year we just celebrated your 80th birthday.
That's correct.
And now you're 81.
Right.
Years young.
This month.
This month.
Yes.
Yet you're still working, and I know you don't have to work. So why do you continue to work your hours?
That's so easy to answer. A, you retire, you expire. My father, in his 50s, I got him retired early, but when his group retired out of Dixie Cup at around 65, 68 years old, within 5 years, 80% of the guys were gone because they had no purpose, they have no drive, they have no ambition, they have nothing to look forward to. Number 2 is I love what I do.
Yeah.
In my book, it says, behind that desk is like being strapped to a 1,000 horsepower NASCAR going around a curve at 200 miles an hour, just barely letting go. That adrenaline I get is running this company.
Let me share a memory with you guys too. So when I would come here and visit Jim, I'd probably come here sometimes once a week, sometimes once a month to mentor with you, and you would just like pour wisdom into me. Sales, marketing, leadership, how to manage your people, how to manage your companies. And I remember if I sat here too long, like it was 11:30 or so, Carmen, your dad, who at the time, how old was he at the time?
95.
He was 95 years old. You gave Carmen a sense of purpose here in your company. And I remember he would water all the plants, and then, correct me if I'm wrong, he would set out like crackers and tuna fish for you and Phyllis to have lunch together.
Chicken noodle soup.
Yeah.
With avocado.
Yeah.
We had an avocado with
Is it tuna fish? No.
Avocado with tuna fish in, something about avocado with
Like chicken or
cottage
something?
cheese.
Cottage cheese, that's
et cetera,
right.
et cetera. But he watched us for years not get lunches because we're just busy
Work through the day.
working. He said, none more of that. So at 12 o'clock sharp, he made us both sit down over there, and that was his goal. I had my dad retire at 58 because they took in what the big companies do, that's hiring the youngsters and get rid of the high-paid people, and they put him on swing shift at 58 years old. And he said, Jim, I can't do this. I'm in 30-some years working every day.
Tell our audience what swing shift is.
A swing shift is when you go in at 7, 8 o'clock at night and get off at 5 o'clock.
You work through the night.
Work through the night.
And they had a man who was working a swing shift who was in his 50s at that time, right?
Late 50s, and he was also he ran a crew of 6, 8 people. He had a printing department.
Right.
They actually took that away from him and put him on swing shift as the night manager.
Yeah.
But long story short, I said, Dad, do me a favor, go to the office and find out what you would get at 65, which is 6 years from now, or now. The difference. This is back, in the
is that 80s?
80s.
Yeah.
And it was $575. I said, Dad, let me pay you that. Retire early, go out in style, and come work with me. He says, 2 things. I don't punch no time clock, and I want to have no employees. I said, deal.
So he set his own expectations with how he was going to work here. He's not going to punch a time clock, and he's not going to have employees to manage.
But believe me.
He's his own boss here.
Believe me.
Yeah.
He would say to me, I'm so proud of you, you never gave up. And I didn't really know what he meant, but see, he saw me upside down. Never filed bankruptcy 3 times.
Yeah.
Because I'm a guy that just jumps into a business and figure out, like I was telling my people, I had some bankers sitting in my office one time. The guy says, a personality like you, Mr. Franco, you would jump off a 10-story building and figure out on the way down how you're going to land. Mm-hmm. And I said, that's pretty close to the truth. So I would get into businesses and stuff. I had no idea what I was doing, like the computer business.
Yeah.
I had an auto parts store.
Right.
You buy a computer company? What are you, nuts?
Yeah.
I had to learn it. The first 8 or 10 years was tough, real tough.
Yeah.
But
and I got to experience how you would acquire other companies. When I was coming here and mentoring with you and had that little cubicle in the other side, I remember you acquired one of your competitors. Is it Datatron? Am I remembering? Is that correctly?
That's absolutely correct.
Right? You acquired
2001.
Yeah, 2001. That's right. You acquired Datatron, and you told me that you were using the revenue that they were generating to pay. Am I remembering this correctly?
You're absolutely
Explain how that works. Like, you bought a business by using their money to pay back to them instead of coming out of pocket.
And let's do it the other way. I give you $2 million for your company. All I can afford to give you is a couple $100,000 down, and I'll pay you at X percent of interest over the next that one was 7 years.
Yeah.
But the revenue from the recurring revenue I got was paying the payment and giving me profit.
Yeah.
And then I took it to another level by adding all my e-commerce products onto it, which is other.
That's right.
Online ordering and online invoices.
So the cash flow went up even higher.
And then my cash flow even went more. So every single company that I bought, I would wrap my 2 things around it they didn't have.
Yeah.
They didn't know how to market, advertise.
Yep.
Couldn't afford it. Mm-hmm. A. B. They weren't forward-thinking enough to take their product to another level.
Right.
So when they weren't advertising, so they were flat. And so they just got older and said, you know what, it's time to sell. So I actually did 17 acquisitions.
17 acquisitions, man. This
Technology company.
Yeah. And were most of them?
And most of them were, let's call it owner financed.
Okay.
I'm paying them back with their own money, but they financed the company. Now, one guy said one time, he says, Jimmy, just give me back my own money. I said, yeah, but I'm letting you retire now rather than then.
So so you did this acquisition with 17 different companies. I just want to share something with you guys watching this on YouTube right now. You see guys and gals, Cody Sanchez, Hermosi, myself, others talking about how to buy other businesses, right? Buy other companies from people. And Jim Franco was doing this like in the 90s, early 2000s. He bought a $2 million company, just one of the 17 examples that he acquired. He bought a $2 million company by giving them 10%, $200,000, and then saying, I'm going to use the revenue from the company that I'm buying, from your company, to pay you over a period of time with interest, and you still had cash flow on top of that, profits coming in.
And I picked up phenomenal programmers, support people, customers, a couple hundred customers, and another product to sell.
Yeah.
To wrap my products around. So it was just a win-win-win. Now, I was buying another company. It was in Florida. He brought an M&A guy there in the office. We're sitting in the office. I visited him to buy his company. And I said, I kind of old school, guys. I kind of figured out how to value a company. They said, really?
How do you value
What's your
a company?
It's very simple. I'm going to tell you right now. Simple. The ability to pay for itself over 5 to 7 years.
The ability to pay for itself
for 5 to 7 years. Now, I paid off Parts Watch in 3 because it was a phenomenal buy.
Right.
Because it had a bigger volume, and it was I had to buy it from eBay, which was a challenge, and they wanted cash, which is another challenge, but thank the Lord. And I've done this with banking, and you want to share something important? Try to stay away from partners. Try to stay away from private equity companies. Try to stay away from people that want part of your business without them working for it. All they're buying it.
Right.
And what they'll do is they'll spin you for about 4 or 5 years and pretty soon sell you off. And they're only interested in one thing, bottom line profit. So they're going to cut your overhead, they're going to cut your service, cut to get that bottom line, and which puts a company on a dive that a lot of times can't recover.
That's true.
And I'm never going to let myself do that.
No.
And I've done all my acquisitions either with my own banks or my customers being the bank.
Owner finance.
Owner finance.
Owner finance.
And it's worked out.
Such great advice.
Now all I have to contend with, and not have to contend with, I'm proud to contend with Donnie and Tiffany and my kids that are stepping up and want the business, not a silver spoon like, well, I guess I should run this thing. They really want to take to another level, which is important.
Do you mind if we sit down and I ask you a few more questions on life? What is the book about that you're writing?
The book is about, very simply.
Is this a picture of you?
That's a picture of me. That's a picture of me. Look at my sideburns I had.
First of all, I admire your short shorts. Like only you can pull off shorts like that. Secondly, look how jacked he was. Man, it's a black and white photo. Look how jacked his arms are. And
I was jacked. But back at this, it says, the title of the book is, You Can Accomplish Your Dreams if you never give up. And I'm going to have a picture of me dancing, kicking up in the air. And below it's going to say 3 cliches. It's going to say, enjoy the ride.
Yep.
Keep dreaming. And love lots.
I've seen you do that. When does the book come out?
Editor has it. I should have it ready in about 60 days.
Really? All right. Can I have the opportunity to promote it for you?
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
But I'm not writing it really to make money on it. I'm just writing it to see if I can affect youngsters in making a difference in getting in their own business and seeing the fruits what it takes for that effort and that drive. You got to have drive. You have passion. You got to have.
So you're 81. We've talked about that before. I got a funny story about that, but I don't know if we can tell that story. Do you remember when you and I went to Chicago?
I sure do. I wrote in the book.
Okay, to pitch them on High-Tech Trainer.
High-Tech Trainer.
So we went to Chicago, guys, in probably 2000, 2001. I don't remember if it was before the 9/11 attacks or after, but you and I went to Bally's Total Fitness headquarters in Chicago.
Yeah, we did.
And I'd never pitched a company on anything, so you went with me to pitch the company, Bally's Total Fitness, on High-Tech Trainer, our Palm Pilots with workouts on it.
Right.
And you and I shared a room. And I remember waking up and realizing, oh, Jim's already in the shower. And you came out of the shower, and it was like Cheech and Chong's Wild Adventures. Do you remember any of this?
No.
You were smoking a joint before our meeting, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Well, in life, I found out, whether it's alcohol or pot, easy stuff. Yeah. But it was actually a sedative. And my daughter said, Dad, a lot of people can't do what you do because you're so well aware of who you are that I know when I need to relax a little bit.
Right.
I know when I need to be on fire.
Yeah.
I know my body pretty well. So I've used that actually to make my life actually better, not to get out of reality, but to get more into what I'm doing.
Right. Well, today they call that optimization, to optimize your health, your thinking, your brain, etc. And so you would optimize yourself to become even better at what you were doing. But even that to me was a lesson, because I was like, all right, like if this savage of an entrepreneur is able to do this and build that,
it'd be successful without letting it get to me.
Yeah. Talk about having absolute control of your faculties.
And there's another one too. The Lord says, it's okay to have money, just don't let the money get in you. Understand that?
Yeah.
It can't be your total focus. Your total focus is helping people build. They can be what you do and I do. We do it in different ways, but that's what motivates me.
Yep.
That's what keeps me going.
Where did you get this whole, I'm going to figure things out no matter what? Were you born with that mindset, or did Carmen?
No. I actually started as an entrepreneur when I was 11, 12 years old. I just got the bug to make money. And when I started my side jobs with whether it's lawns or washing windows, I started selling Christmas cards door to door, personalized. And I figured out how to save money. And at 15 and a half years old, I bought my own car. But along that way, and in there's we built a go-kart racetrack in the back of the neighbors.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that story.
And my garage was the place where everybody came. I became a leader, and I didn't even really realize it. And I also found out earlier on that the only way you're really going to be successful is be able to handle, I don't call them employees today, but to handle employees, team, like a team I have today. And I learned that all the way back in my service station days. Because I didn't really know how to hire and what an employee was supposed to do. I just needed help.
Right.
So the way I got help, I said, well, if I teach this guy all I know, he can do what I'm doing, and I can move up the ladder and hone my skills and do more.
Yeah.
So I treated my employees with a lot of respect and admiration, because I always try to surround myself with people smarter than me.
Yeah.
I was young. I was in business myself at 18 years old. And this one guy used to call me Young James, because I was younger than all my customers, younger than all my employees. I was just a kid. I think born with it. And got the bug early, and then OJT along the way, because I'm still waiting for a high school diploma. I've told you that before.
Tell our friends what OJT means.
On-job training.
On the job training.
That means you just go for it. You get up in the morning, and you figure out what you're going to do. Plan your work and work your plan. That's a very good saying. Remember that one. Plan your work and work your plan. And do that every single day.
Yeah.
And you'll be amazed. At the end of the month, said, look at all the stuff I really accomplished.
Do you have an Instagram account? Does Jim Franco?
No.
Jim Franco does not have an Instagram account, and you don't need one. You're a gangster. You don't need one.
I don't need that.
No.
Now, my company is on LinkedIn for some of our press releases, etc.
Yeah.
But I don't do Facebook. I don't watch television. I don't read newspapers. I don't like what the world is professing it's about, because I teach my family and my team. There's two worlds. There's that world out there, and there's our world. Our world means the people that you can affect, the people you communicate with, the people that are part of your life, the people that you grow with and learn with. That's your real world. You could try and... I also learned another phrase that's very, very important.
Tell me.
Worry is a state of mind that either hasn't happened yet or you have no control of. So flush it. Don't talk about it. Don't think about it. All it's going to do is get you anxious. When you have no control and you can't do anything about it, and you talk about, oh my God, this, what's the gain? Put that energy in your world.
Worry is a state of mind that hasn't happened yet,
or you have no control of.
And you have no control of. Today we can replace the word worry with anxiety.
Anxiety.
Right?
Fear.
Yeah, fear.
Anxious.
Yeah.
All that stuff that people are just living with every day, and I feel so sorry for people that aren't happy, because it's very difficult to be happy when you're anxious, afraid, upset, and disappointed over something that you can't change.
That you can't change.
I said, ladies and gentlemen, you got 5 minutes every 4 years. That's all you have in politics. But you've got 365 days of making a difference in your world. Yeah. Right?
So when you say the outside world versus this inside world, the outside world is what? Like politics, news, bad news, all the stuff that we hear on
child trafficking, the drugs, the border, the ethnic, the ugliness stuff that goes on out there. I do not have I personally can't even comprehend in my mind how people have problem with different ethnic groups. The blacks or the Asians or whatever. Come on. They're all born in the same world. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter what your accent is. You're still a human being.
Yeah. Do you feel like you were a different breed for your generation? Because you think differently than your generation typically does. Let's be honest.
I had one of my employees say, Jim Franco, you have no idea the type of company you've created. This is phenomenal. Everybody ahs and oohs when I share how you treat us and what you do with this company.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And you're right. I've got to be different, beating to my own drum.
Yeah. In every way, the way you think, the way you lead, the fact that, I mean, your generation more than anything, you know, sees color, sees skin color. Yet you're like, I've known you 24 years now, 25 years, going on 25 years. And yeah, you've always been, you didn't give a shit someone's skin color. You've always been about whether they're respectful, their character, how they show up.
And if I gravitate to them with their personality and their ideas and et cetera, relationships transpire.
Where did you gain your confidence from? I mean, you got confidence, you have swagger, like you command a room when you walk in. Where does all that come from?
OJT, babe.
On the job training.
I mean, I remember one time I'm 18 years old and the high school teacher was impressed with the fact that I had my own auto parts store at 21 years old, auto parts store. And he said, would you mind coming to my graduated class about auto parts, auto shop?
Auto shop, yeah.
And I said, sure. So what he did, he put all 3 of his classes, so I had 90 kids standing in a room, and I was telling them about my experiences. And the thrill I got with all those eyes staring at me when I'm telling my story. And after that, I said to the teacher, I said, you know, if just one of these kids picked up one of my ideas and become successful, I win. So I got that feeling of making a difference and sharing why and what I did and how I did it, and it's been a heck of a ride.
Yeah, I think you were a mentor from the get-go. You just loved serving people, helping them, teaching them what you know.
That's what I am. I'm a servient leader. There's a big difference in the ones that are commanding and dictatorial versus a servient.
Yeah.
And I've said in front of my people and said, listen, I'm the guy that wants to make your life better. So whatever I can do to make your relationship with this company better.
Yeah. You were also a very firm leader as well, because you let me borrow money to start High Tech Trainer, and you gave me a fair interest rate in my payback. But I don't know if you remember this. One day you called me and you said, hey, come to my office. We need to have a come to Jesus meeting. Do you remember that?
I don't remember, but go ahead.
And I had never heard
that expression.
The expression of we're going to need to have a come to Jesus meeting. And I remember, you would talk about Jesus and God a lot. You're a Christian.
Yes.
And so I was like, I wonder if Jim's going to try and make me into a good Christian, And so I remember coming to your office, and you said, hey, big boy, the $126,000 in debt that High Tech Trainer is in, I'm not going to put any more money in. Like, this is it. The purse strings are closed. And I remember hearing that and literally in my head going, oh shit, what do I do? And through the lessons that you had given me over the previous years, I figured it out and ended up paying you back your money with interest and maintained a great relationship with you. But I'd never heard the term come to Jesus meeting, and no one had ever made my butthole pucker as tight as you did during that day when I was, 20 some odd years ago.
I blame it on the expression, it's just business.
Yeah.
Nothing personal.
Yeah. Right, and you've told me that before. Nothing personal, it's just business.
It's just business.
Yeah.
Sometimes you've got to make some tough decisions when you're in business.
Yep.
Because you've got responsibility to all your employees and all these customers. You make a drastic area, put yourself out of business, you're hurting a lot of people.
Yep.
Not just yourself.
Yep, that's true.
Running a business and being able to know how to motivate and get people to work for you. I've got a 14.7 tenure in my company.
Wow.
That means my average employee has been with me for almost 15 years.
Almost 15 years, yeah.
When
I walked in, a lot of the same faces.
Well, I don't go through a lot of people because I treat them really right and challenge them. Like I'm in a meeting today. I said, guys, I'm sorry. Sometimes you think I'm pressing you. Well, my real job is to challenge you, to get you thinking out of the box, to get you to go beyond what you think your talents are.
So the book comes out in 60 days. You're still working out 2 to 3 days a week. You don't need a personal trainer because you had the best in the world and you could never go back to a mediocre peasant trainer, right?
Gotta love it.
Yeah. I've gained a lot of swagger from you. You've been my rich dad in my life. You know, Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Yeah, you've been that guy, and I've been fortunate to be that guy in Leighton's life. What about young men today? How do you feel towards the young men today?
They lost the want. They don't want for anything. They expect. I mean, I don't know if you're seeing it, but to get the youngsters to work, it's a challenge nowadays.
Oh, I'm seeing it.
I don't know if that's it. I don't know if parents have spoiled the kids too much, where they're expecting. I don't know where it went. What is it? 84% of the college graduates do not get a job in their field.
All right.
And 50% are back with their parents with no jobs. It's a bummer. The future that I see is I think they should emphasize more on trade colleges that teach you a trade.
Trade schools.
I heard another thing interesting. Artificial intelligence is coming on strong. We're adopting it both in our customer service and with our programmers, etc. They say that the baby boomers, our advancements in the last 60 years was the most advancement in all of U.S. history. They say AI is going to put that to shame.
Wow.
Because in theory, I hate to say this, but it'll eliminate my entire company with AI. They'll be able to tell the AI what I want to program to do. If I want to program for an auto parts store, it's going to write it for them.
Right. So you want to.
I want a document that does whatever, they're going to write it for them. All the accounting is going to be, all that stuff's going to be done. But the plumbers and the electricians and the framers and the teachers and some of those jobs are skills.
Yeah, they're still going to stay.
Right.
Because you can't get AI to lay electrical conduits everywhere.
Correct.
Yeah.
Or to put bricks down, et cetera, et cetera. So I think because right now the colleges are kind of a ripoff, a couple $100,000 and what do you got?
What do you get? Nothing.
So I'm seeing that the trade shows are going to come on stronger
trade schools
in the future. Yeah, trade schools.
Yeah. So your book's coming out in 60 days. I know I just called you on the spot because we went to that LA Fitness and I took the crew here a walk down memory lane. You know, telling them where I started off as a personal trainer and how I met you, and I figured I'd call you because I know your schedule. What is it? 8 to 2 still, right? Is it 8 to 2 or
8:30 to 2?
8:30 to 2.
Yeah.
So I figured if I can catch you here at the office, it'd be fun to catch up with you. Thanks for giving us some time, Jim.
Well, I just had my sales meeting this morning at 10, and it worked out quite well. I mean, it's always a lot of fun to reminisce with you because you're a good podcast host. You know how to ask the questions, get them going. In fact, in my articles, Babcock's wrote executive interviews for me.
Yeah.
Well, they gave me a series of questions, and I just ad-lib.
Yeah.
And similar here, it was fun to bring up questions that I have to think about a little bit to answer.
Yeah.
And because when I look at my life, I sometimes have to pinch myself how I really got here. It's amazing. I can't even comprehend how I pulled most of this stuff off.
So looking back, it's not like you knew you were going to end up here.
No. Oh.
You just pulled off one thing at a time.
I just bull in a china shop. Just went for it.
Bull in a china shop.
When opportunities came up, I took advantage of them. Most of them worked out well because my parents taught me the best thing in the world. They taught me how to do a good job, take pride in my work, and leave everything better than when I got it, whether personal or a piece of property. That has resonated throughout my entire life, and I can outwork today most everybody. I'm doing some yard work, help some guys lay some turf, and they're saying, "And how old are you? 80 years old, and you got more energy than everybody here." It's just who I am.
Yeah, that is who you are.
Lots of energy and drive.
Every time, I wrote about you in my book as my mentor and my rich dad, and I talk about you on my podcast a lot. So my audience of millions know of you. And one comment I always see often over and over again, people ask me, how does Jim Franco feel about you today? And I've never asked you because I kind of have a feeling of how you feel about me. But the audience always asks me, like, man, Jim Franco has seen you when you were broke, a broke personal trainer, had multiple jobs, and was personally training you. You taught me sales skills. You became my business partner in 2 businesses, High Tech Trainer and my gym, Jim's Premier Results. And you've seen me evolve over time now. And everybody will ask every now and again, like, what does Jim Franco think of you today? So I'm curious, and if you think I'm an asshole, just lay it on me.
No, the exact opposite. Number one, do you know how proud it makes me that I have mentored a person that has become as successful as you are? That's huge.
Wow.
Seriously. Because I've tried to help a lot of people be all they can be.
Yeah.
I mean, some get it and some don't. And you got a gift.
Thank you.
You got a gift. You got a gift of communication, which is huge.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
After all these years, how many franchisees do you have today?
So we've got just over 600 franchise locations.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's, remember, during the pandemic,
Now, I
a few
know you
years
got
ago,
hurt.
218 locations.
That's what I said. I knew you were over 100, but you had 218.
Yeah, that we lost during the pandemic, and we gained.
No, you had. I'm sorry. Rephrase. You had 800 or 900, almost 1,000, if I remember.
Yeah, we were pushing close to 1,000.
There you go.
And then we lost 218, and there was almost a year and a half where nobody was buying a franchise from us because they were afraid there's going to be another pandemic. Why open up a gym when it's going to get locked down? Yeah, it was a scary time. And remember you taught me how, do you remember this term you taught me? Make a little bit of money from a lot of people?
That's right.
Right? Which is how all your businesses are structured.
That's right.
So I've got coaching programs, I've got software programs, I've got all these things that make me a little bit of money from a lot of people, recurring revenue. And it was all those other businesses, plus the real estate. You also told me to like invest in real estate. Absolutely. I bought rental properties. And during the pandemic, I had to rely on my other businesses and my real estate, sold off a few homes to keep my franchise alive. But today we've regained all those locations and we're in a good place where Fit Body Bootcamp, it's growing faster than ever. And I think it's a testament to the work ethic, the ability to figure things out that you've taught me over the years, that I just put my head down like a bull in a china closet, and me and my team did the work, and we came out winners on the other side. Are you still here in Coyote Hills?
Oh, yeah.
You're still living in the same place?
Yeah.
By the way, check this out, guys. Real quick, you see a lot of people that have a couple homes, but they're renting them all. The Jim Franco model is you own them all.
You would just use them, yes.
Yeah.
I do.
But you also put them out for rent.
Our beach house, it's too nice.
Too nice to
only
rent
for
out.
Family and friends.
Hey, good for you. Make so much money where you don't even have to rent out your house.
And I've got the 2 homes in Havasu.
Yeah.
We rent them the winter months for the snowbirds.
Okay.
From November to May.
Are those the Canadians?
Canadians,
Yeah.
Idaho, and,
Yeah.
anywhere there's cold.
Yeah.
But from May through November,
Yeah.
it's no charge for my team members, my family, my friends. Get to go out there and enjoy those homes.
It's great, man.
At no charge.
What a great benefit.
Yeah.
All right. What else does our audience need to know about being a successful, happy, well-balanced human?
The Lord has blessed me beyond my comprehension. To have done what I've done with no education and no money, and not only successful, but successful in a way that it's not about the money. It's about building an empire of people that enjoy coming to work. And I have 5,000 customers out there running 5,000 rooftops.
Right.
That's auto parts stores.
Right.
With my system in it. That responsibility to keep all those customers up and happy and running on computers is not only a challenge and rewarding as heck.
Yeah.
And the recurring revenue is, we do $18 million a year in recurring revenue.
Good for you.
That
Just
is
in recurring revenue.
And I got 96 employees, all working from home. Now, talk about an entrepreneur, old school.
Yeah. Was it hard for you to
Are you
accept
kidding
that?
me? I can't do it. I have to.
You still come here?
Every day.
Yeah.
I did it all through the COVID.
And have you noticed a decrease in production or efficiency?
No.
No.
I've actually seen the opposite.
Really?
Yeah. Now, thank the Lord above, I'm working with a more professional group.
Right.
I don't have kids out of high school driving trucks or delivering or sweeping floors,
Right.
that kind of stuff. They're all professionals.
Yeah, high level.
So with that comes the respect and the wages that they know what they need to do and they get it done.
And they get it done.
Now we do a lot. We have a lot of Zoom meetings. We
Yeah.
go to meetings and.
Was it easy for you to adopt to that, to Zoom and all that shit?
And my rules were, guys, I want cameras on. I want to see your face. I want to see your expression. I want to see you waving your hands. I want to be like you're sitting next to me on that screen.
Yeah.
And this morning I had 16 of my salespeople on that screen every Thursday. So yes, it's okay. Now it's been, what, 3-4 years. At first I thought, this ain't gonna work. I got to see their face. I got to see that they're working. How do I know they're not?
But it worked.
There you got. Now you have to have a lot of faith.
Right.
There you got to have a lot of faith, and a good culture and a good relationship and respect for your employees. They have for you.
And it's that respect that creates the loyalty.
It does.
And I've seen your people that have massive loyalty for you. Yeah.
And I do everything I can to help them how they can be.
Well, Jim, I know your book comes out in 60 days. When it comes out, I want to share it on social media.
You're going to have
My
a
audience.
signed copy delivered to you personally.
Look at
sir.
that. I get a signed copy from Jim Franco. Jim, you've been a great mentor, so I appreciate you picking up the phone and letting us come by as we were here in town. And I suppose every few years we'll stop by and keep updating, getting updates.
I would love that.
All right.
Because I remember one time I came to your place, did a podcast, and that was a kick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Yes, sir.
God bless.
Well, listen, man, that was a pretty cool treat meeting Jim Franco in the very office that he has been running Autolog, his business, for 30 some odd years. You heard him talk about the 17 acquisitions that he's made in his industry. You've heard him talk about life and family and entrepreneurship and leadership and, really controlling your inner circle, because life on the outside can be pretty scary and chaotic, but you can control everything in your life, in your circle of influence. And so I think that was really sage advice. I'm glad you guys got to see Jim Franco. And who knows, maybe every couple of years we come and sit with Jim Franco here in beautiful Buena Park, California, which also happens to be the city that I got pulled over by the police in the helicopter chase probably maybe 6 years before meeting Jim Franco. So Buena Park has a lot of ups and downs in my life, but today we had a really good time at Autolog, Jim Franco's office, sitting down with him and getting some wisdom. Let's run.
It's been a long time coming. They ain't cuffing my clock, they tugging. Putting up numbers, 99 problems, and I still kept it 100.